What up, Dokkanners? The Super 17 portion of this final chapter before the 8-year anniversary is basically done. The Rekindle Flames of Hell, Attack of the Avengers. This campaign is done. If we fully tapped it out, there is nothing left to do here except for the Prime Battle Cell EZA, which I did cover on the previous video. So for those of you who are new or free-to-play players, you've got your hands full with all of the grinding that's going to be involved in that, as well as all of the free-to-play content that is available during the celebration. But for most of you who are veteran players who have at least played for a little over a few months, maybe more, you're done. There's really nothing left to do except for waiting until part 2. So in today's video, we're going to be talking about when part 2 will most likely start, the timeline that shapes up right before that, and we'll talk about what are some of the things that you guys can do in the meantime to keep yourselves occupied during this time. Now, I do also want to mention, you know, while we covered Dokkan on the channel, this is not the only game that I play, and I would imagine that this is not the only game that most of you guys play as well. So, you know, very easy solution to the burnout question is to simply put the game down and play other games. And I feel like I need to say that because sometimes, based on some of the comments that I see in different places, it's sort of surprising that people sort of expect Dokkan, or any game for that matter, to provide 24/7 worth of content, day in, day out, constantly innovating, constantly providing new stuff to do. That's just not feasible. That's just not something that's realistic. So, you know, if you ever feel like Dokkan is momentarily dry, you can always, you know, jump into another game, play that for a little bit, sort of take a step back and then come back. That's a thing you can do. And that's one of the reasons why I have a Twitch channel. So I don't just play Dokkan, I play a bunch of other games. Make sure you guys follow me on Twitch. I'm going to put the Twitch link in the pinned comment. All my socials are available in the description, but I'm going to put that in the pinned comment because by the time you're watching this, I might already be streaming on Twitch. Right now, I am super into Street Fighter. Even though I'm terrible at it, I am trying to learn how to play that, and I'm having a lot of fun. So make sure you guys follow me over on Twitch. But now, let's talk about the timeline. This sacred timeline on global. Pre-8-year anniversary Dokkan Festival Part 1 goes from the 30th until June 19th, as we see in the login right here. So from the 30th until the 19th, that is how long we have part 1, which is a little bit longer than the 2-week window that we're normally accustomed to, which is why some people might be confused and they might be concerned when things are going to be playing out. Unfortunately, that is when part 1 is going to be ending. So part 2 will start on the 19th at reset. So if you count all of these days, that's about roughly 20 to almost 21 days, which is basically 3 weeks, which is a little bit higher than you would normally expect. Normally, part 1 is 2 weeks, part 2 is 2 weeks, but this is just one of those times where it just so happens that we have to squeeze in an extra bit of time to accommodate the schedule. Because imagine if we did go part 1 2 weeks, part 2 2 weeks, there's still a 1-week gap with nothing, right? And so we're kind of just including that 1 week of nothingness in the part 1. That's sort of what's happening. So it's kind of like the analogy that I'd like to equate this to would be like the leap year. Like every 4 years, we need to include 1 extra day in February to account for the imbalance that happens every single year. Because every single year, we are actually not counting a quarter of a day. And so if we don't do that, then after like 10 years, January would be like in June or something like that. So to sort of balance out and recalibrate, we have to include a leap year where there's a leap day involved, an extra day. So it's kind of like that. Most of the time it would be a 2-week interval. Oops, wrong slide. Most of the time it would be a 2-week interval. Sometimes they extend it further just to accommodate a budget, or I guess the amount of Dokkan Fest that they have per year, and sort of synchronize it with the appropriate times that they want to hold their bigger celebrations. So this is going to be 3 weeks. This is going to be 2 weeks. Starting on the 19th, we will be jumping into part 2, which is right here. We will get the Super BUU, we will get the burst mode, chain battle, and peton, all the, you know, the low end stuff, all of the part 2 that Kale's Dokkan Festival received. Now, if the 19th is when the Super BUU banner is going to be dropping, let's reverse engineer that. How is that going to play out? If the 19th is when it starts, the 18th will be when we get the data download, and the 17th will be when we get the animations, the Twitter preview. So me posting this video on the 7th, that basically means in 10 days, we will be jumping into, or at least getting ready for part 2. Now, for most of you, part 2 is not going to be anything more than simply a stone grab. It's just going to be more of the same, where you do the content, get your stones, and get ready. Because at that point, you don't want to be spending your stones for anything other than the 8-year anniversary. Unless, of course, you're a Super BUU fan. But most of you are not going to be. So that being said, we got 10 days. Give yourselves 10 to 11 days. Pace yourselves out in terms of content. Don't burn out if you already are. here are some things that you can do to keep yourselves occupied in Dokkan. And this is where I would ask you guys in the comment section to provide your own input as well if I miss anything, because I think these are going to be some nice ways for you guys to stay engaged in Dokkan. What can you do while we wait? Simple answer: Extreme Z Awakening Zenny farming. So not awakening, but battles, Extreme Z battles. If you guys go to the events tab, you go all the way to the right, you go to the Z battles, you'll see all of the different Extreme Z battles that are available. If you go past stage 30, every single stage that you complete, you will get a Hercule statue. Is it a diamond or a platinum? One of those two. I think it's a platinum Hercule statue. And so every single fight, you can get one of those. So with all of the different EZAs that exist in Dokkan times 969 stages, that is a whole lot of Hercule statues that you could be earning. I say 969 because after stage 30, you have 969 more stages to complete, because every single one can hit 999. Not that it's easy to do. They can be challenging the further you go. Like, for example, Piccolo was extremely tanky by stage 30. So this might be one that you might want to avoid, but at the moment, that EZA is not even there. But with all of these different Extreme Z battle stages, there are so many different choices for you guys to run through. Even if you can't get to 999, get 20 stages in, 30 stages in on each one. Try to aim for at least 77. That will also give you a title. Not that titles matter, but in the future, if they ever add some sort of an update where titles do matter, maybe not even simply equipping them, but just having the title might add some sort of an enhancement perk to your account. You never know. So, it's not a bad idea to just start working on all of these, which is something that a lot of the more prominent Dokkan content creators actually do. And I know, shout out to my boy D Simons, he does that all the time. He is on top of the 77 EZA grind all the time. So I know that this is going to be something that a lot of you guys will enjoy if you're trying to kind of like add this to your list of accomplishments in Dokkan. Then we've got link leveling, pretty obvious, 30-4. Farm every free-to-play character available. Now, this doesn't just mean the TURs, but this extends to their SSR counterparts as well. This all depends on what type of a Dokkaner you are. Are you somebody who's dedicated enough to do that? Maybe you want to enhance your power level overall. Maybe you're someone who just likes to collect every single character. Having every iteration of every character is an important detail. And this is something that I'm actually starting to work on as well. Anytime a new celebration releases, I go back and I farm out the SSR versions of the characters that I already have rainbowed. Like, for example, the Trunks, Marin, and Goten, I don't have their SSR fully rainbowed. I don't even have it. I got to go get that done. Same with the Universe 2 girls and so on and so forth. So this sort of gives you a renewed sense of, direction on some of these celebrations that otherwise seem stale. So that could be something that you could do if you care. There are 2 Elder Kais currently available on the Universe Survival Story event. So I would recommend that if you guys do want to at least Dokkan Responsibly for that, jump into this story event right here, the one that looks like this with all the different character cut-ins, and you want to go to stage 4, you can farm out the Kachin medal. You need 40,000 of that in order to buy 2 Elder Kais from the Baba shop. So make sure you guys do that. That is only going to be available until the 19th. So once part 2 starts, all of this stuff will be going away. So make sure you guys farm that out before that. It's going to be very, very easy to do, especially with the new support memory boost that they provided for the Bulma. It is actually a very easy thing to do. Plus, with all of the extra support memory reel capacity that we have now, you can use so much more of those support memories that are enhanced that you are getting. I think in my first go at that event, I got about 30,000 Kachin medals using all of my boosts and my support memories until all of that dropped down to 0. I got about 75% of the way there, or yeah. So it was very easy to do. So do that. What's next? Farm. Okay, so for those of you who do care about the Super BUU banner, and even if you don't, this would be generally a good idea to do. Pre-farm the LR Super BUU medals. Why do you want to do this? Well, even if you're not summoning for the Super BUU, at some point on some banner, you will randomly pull this Super BUU. And at that point, maybe the Dokkan event isn't available for that day. Maybe you don't have keys and you don't have the means to jump into the Portal of Memories and access that Dokkan event. It would be nice and convenient to just have these. Now, I know some of you guys say that this is a superstition or this is taboo, but again, if you're not summoning, who cares? It'll just be in your backlog. It'll be in your inventory. And someday in the future, when you pull the unit, you can instantly Dokkan Awaken the characters. So this will be a nice way to keep you occupied as well. Depending on how much stamina you have available after doing daily missions or whatnot, you can then do your 5 runs on the Super BUU Dokkan event, maybe spread it out, do 2 events here, 1 here, 1 here, because in total you need 5 runs on this stage, 2 runs on this stage, 2 on that. Then back here, you need 3 runs on this boost stage, 2 runs on the Gotenks. So if you pace yourself out, you can get all of these done at different times whenever it is convenient for you, and you'll be ready for that Super BUU whenever it shows up. Practice speed battle for the upcoming 8-year anniversary. Now, I don't think a lot of people maybe realize this because we haven't really talked about it. I will be doing a preview series for the 8-year anniversary, but during the campaign, during the 8-year anniversary, there is going to be a speed battle renewal. They've basically taken one of the oldest, most useless events, and they've actually added some intrigue towards it with some not category missions, but with some missions in general. So I'm trying to find it. I was just looking over it before. Is it in part 1? Is it in part 3? I don't remember where it is. Let me see. I don't want to waste too much time just looking for it. Let me go to countdown. Is it in countdown? Here it is. Dokkan Ultimate Speed Battle. So global renewed. We did get a renewal for it. That was was that 2017? August 2017, there was a renewal. Okay, whatever. I don't think I've ever touched this event aside from one time when I started playing the game. But this is the 8th anniversary version they've added. This is the one where in the data there was talks of like Frieza having a guard ability or something like that. They're going to be handing out 30 of these turquoise keys for you to access these were distributed to the fan participants. They got to access the event early and they set their records, and then JP players were going in and trying to beat those records. But at the moment, there are only 2 missions. So, hey, 10 stones. But you got to get into the swing of things, right? You got to learn how to lean forward and not dilly-dally on, what orbs you should be picking up. You just got to go for it, go for it, go for it. So this will be a great way to practice. Right now on Global, we just have the simple, easier version. But at least getting that muscle memory in there will help you out. So speed battle would be good. Do dailies and then play another game. Like I said, just do the daily missions, your bare minimum stuff. Get all the stones that you can possibly get for the daily missions, and then jump onto Street Fighter, jump onto Legends, jump onto Breakers, jump onto, I don't know, whatever you're playing, Fortnite, whatever you want. Play it, but at least you do the daily missions on Dokkan first. That way, you are still up to date and on top of everything, because you need to do those dailies to get some of those missions. You got to get the 8-year anniversary advanced missions where you log in every single day. There are certain missions on the part 1 celebration where you have to be logging in every single day. So if you do all those things, you will still remain on top of the game, even if you're not playing it a whole lot. And then I threw in a couple more that I think I personally enjoy doing. Complete every LGE category mission free to play. That is a nice challenge. It also, obviously, Jay Fanta would approve. And I would approve because I do like Dokkaning responsibly and giving the free to play side more representation. So try doing that. This will obviously mean you have to think a lot more strategically. It's going to be more difficult because the leader skill ability will be scaling down tremendously. You can use the friend units whatever you want, but that will be tough. Same thing goes for every red zone stage, using a 170% leader skill or lower. For a little while early when red zone first started, I tried to clear as much as I could with hybrid Saiyans. It was pretty challenging, but it was a lot of fun. I made some of my first few red zone videos with only hybrid Saiyans. I refused to use the 7-year anniversary LRs, the 200% units. I even beat Broly, I think less than a week into the Broly event releasing on Global. I beat it with a full 150% team. So it's doable, it's challenging, but it's a lot of fun and rewarding for me. So maybe it'll be rewarding for you. But there you go, folks. Those are some ideas. Those are some tips you guys can hopefully use to keep yourselves engaged in the meantime. Like I said, 10 to 11 days before we start to get wind of part 2. We should get the Twitter reveal and all that stuff around then. And then the second part of this celebration will be beginning on the 19th of June. So it's going to be a little while. Be patient. Hang in there. We're all in this together. Guys, thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed the video, be sure to like down below. Let me know in the comments, what are you going to be doing to keep yourselves occupied during this time on Global? Are you going to be trying any of these suggestions that I threw out there? Are you going to be playing another game? If so, what game are you playing? Is it Fortnite? Is it another shooter? Is it, I don't know, RPG? Let me know your game of choice in the comments down below. Also, be sure to subscribe for more Dokkan content in the future and click the notification bell so that you let YouTube know when I see more of my stuff. Do it. Thanks again. Stay tuned and I remember to Dokkan responsibly.